All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome into a Wednesday edition of KC Sports Night. I remember what day it was there. I'm usually not here on this day, so I was a little thrown up. But I am Mark Poulose, joined by the great Gabe Swartz, as we have a ton to talk about here today. We're going to start with news that broke earlier this morning. The Royals are sending another person to the MLB All-Star Game festivities, because Jac Caglianone is going to be playing. He's going to appear in the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. A cool thing about this, his dad is actually going to pitch to him. Right now, Jac leads the Royals with 14 home runs. And I think a lot of the rest of the world is going to get to see Jac Caglianone for the very first time, maybe outside of some social media highlights. But, Gabe, to me, this was kind of a cool thing for me to wake up and kind of see this morning. I know, obviously, maybe a lot of players, the top players, maybe don't commit to the home run derby these days. But for Jac Caglianone, for the month of June that he had and a little bit here in July, how big of an honor is this for a guy that was literally not in pro baseball 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think that this is great. This is also one of those things where there's a lot of people who want to point negativity toward the home run derby and say it messes up people's swings and stuff. I'm looking at this.
Did it mess up Bobby Witt Jr.'s swing 2 years ago?
It statistically did not. Bobby got he got even better in the second half of the 2024 season, and I would say that the one thing that you would say about a lot of people is that, if you go into the home run derby, you start thinking about lifting the ball a little bit more. And what have we said about Jac Caglianone through the first 2 years of his career? It's like, honestly, if he could get the ball in the air more, we would see more of his power, because when he does make contact, he's hitting the ball so hard. It's just that sometimes his 105-mile-per-hour exit velocity is a well-struck, hard-hit ground ball right at the second baseman. That has changed a lot in the month of June in particular, with his 9 home runs and his 600-plus slugging percentage. His OPS was above 1,000. So just a absurdly great month from him that I think got people on the recognition. And if you look at who has committed to the home run derby so far this year, it seems like the MLB is kind of getting around on maybe not just guys who hit home runs, but guys who have the highest exit velocities. Because Ben Rice is one of those guys, Junior Caminero. The Royals got a lot of learning about the power that Junior Caminero has. I'm pumped to see it. The home run derby is arguably more fun to watch than the All-Star game itself. We had a lot of fun when Bobby was in it 2 years ago.
No, that was cool. That was cool. It's kind of funny to think about the All-Star game. Like, obviously, it helped out the Royals when they won the World Series, but I cannot believe that at one point they were actually playing the home run derby to determine who got home field advantage in the World Series. The championship for the sport, we're going to base it off an exhibition that's played, and maybe not all the best. Hey, baseball's done a lot of stupid things. That's right up there with one of the stupidest. But one thing that Gabe said that really stood out to me, and there are some numbers here to back it up, is that Jac Caglianone really hits the ball hard. Think about this. He's under the hood numbers. Jac Caglianone is 96th percentile in average exit velocity. He is 98th percentile in hard hit rate, and he is 97th percentile in bat speed. I mean, this guy, Gabe, you talked about it right there. This guy, you look at him, he looks the part. He hits the ball harder than almost anyone in all of baseball, and I'm excited to see Jac kind of get to this stage. He's going to go to Philadelphia, a big major media market. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him that just have never seen him before and never seen him in a Royals uniform, and they're going to see Jac Caglianone walk out there on the field, built like a National Football League linebacker. Maybe like he looks like he's chiseled out of marble. Like he does not. He's one of the biggest, strongest baseball players I have ever seen in my entire life. Like I mean, it's like going back to the steroid era, that's what baseball players look like. Now, Jac Caglianone is clean. I'm not insinuating that, but boy, he's just huge. Now, it's going to be exciting. Bobby, Jac Caglianone is the 6th Royal to compete in the Derby. The other one's Bo Jackson, 1989. Danny Tartabull, 1991. Mike Moustakas in 2017. Salvador Perez in 2021. Bobby Witt Jr. in 2024 when Bobby finished second, and really, really close to making a cool run there at the end. It was cool to see Bobby. Obviously, we know how good Bobby is, but I think that's another big springboard for his success. But Gabe, I want to talk. We talked a little bit about some of the guys that have committed. Let's maybe kind of handicap a little bit of this derby. There's Junior Caminero, Ben Rice from the New York Yankees, who has 25 home runs this year. He's one heck of a baseball player. Jac Caglianone.
Gimmick field, though.
Yeah, at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. You get him out at the old K, I wonder how many home runs he would have. Probably not nearly as many.
I think Jac Caglianone would have more than 14 if he was pulling it over the right field short fence.
So, sorry, I know we were talking about we were going to handicap the field. Maybe we'll get to that in a second. But Salvador Perez the other day when he hit his 314th home run, there haven't been a lot of home runs this year where I think we can necessarily say that was purely because of the fences coming in. That one, absolutely, when Salvi cranked that one. And I think, obviously, you could see it kind of landed in the new seats. They look a little bit different because they haven't been out in the sun and getting sun faded as much. But the way Salvi was hustling around first base, that was a guy that's played a lot of baseball in Kauffman Stadium, and he knew that, hey, maybe in the old ballpark that one wouldn't get out. And then he was, and this guy is working around first base. Like he was moving like a tank, and he's like, oh, that's a homer. I guess I don't have to run so far hard. But no, shout out to him. But okay, so of these guys here in the home run derby, I think Jac Caglianone is going to have a really good chance because we got to think about the ballpark here. Citizens Bank Park really is good for left-handed hitters to hit home runs. I think Jac Caglianone, especially with his dad pitching to him, and his dad pitched for him, I believe, in the I was doing some research. I think the Arizona Fall League had a home run derby
in 2024.
Okay, and Jac's dad threw to him there, so he's done this before. Obviously, it's going to be a big stage there, but I think Cags has a pretty good chance here, Gabe.
Aesthetically, hitting home runs at Citizens Bank Park as a lefty has just very good vibes. Kyle Schwarber is a guy who has led Major League Baseball in home runs multiple times, and specifically did last year and has continued to do so this year. And he hits moonshots that get not only in the lower level of that right field fence, but the stacking decks of Citizens Bank Park. I think we're going to get some of that. I also, to get into the weeds of things, this year it's kind of more of a hybrid between the new
with this format,
home
correct,
run derby where the clock runs and you just kind of
they got rid of that,
as many as possible. And now they're going back a little bit more toward the old format of avoiding outs, which allows you to take in how deep guys are hitting home runs. We can say the difference between Bobby Witt Jr. and Jac Caglianone, both are great hitters. When Bobby Witt Jr. was hitting home runs in the home run derby, yes, he was hitting his fair share of monster home runs, but he was also just peppering the left field seats at Globe Life Field in Arlington because he was just trying to hit low line drives as fast as possible in that clock. Cags, under the new format, can just unload, and we can sit back, maybe a little old school callback to the Josh Hamilton home run derby at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Old Yankee Stadium
Chris
years
Berman,
ago.
back.
And we can just sit back and enjoy the ball going as far as possible and actually see the ball land as opposed to the
clock,
the crazy cutting back and forth between a guy swinging and just having no idea where it ended up. So I'm pumped for Monday night. I'm as pumped as, given what the state of the Royals has been this season. It's about as exciting as we've got.
Yeah, I think this is about as good. Like, this might be as good as we get for the rest of the season. Or maybe the Royals go on a crazy win streak here at the end of the year, but I think it's going to be pretty cool to see Jac Caglianone hit tanks. I mean, if Royals fans, any home game, you guys can show up early, go out and watch batting practice. It's worth it to go watch Jac Caglianone hit. Like, I've said this before here on this program. I don't think I've said it in probably about a year or so because I like to say this. The ball sounds a wee bit different coming off the bat of Jac Caglianone. Like, you see some of these other players, yeah, they're big leaguers. They're very, very good. They hit the ball very, very hard. It sounds different when Jac Caglianone hits the ball. He hits the ball so hard. Actually, Gabe, the other day, another player that really kind of impressed me with his batting practice, obviously it's not a game, was Starling Marte. I mean, it's kind of similar. Like, I was hearing the crack of the bat when he was making contact, and I was like, because I was doing something, I wasn't really paying attention. Starling Marte at BP, I was like, okay, these are guys, they're not really starters. I'm not really going to pay attention. All of a sudden, I just start hearing bang, bang, bang. I'm like, who's hitting? Like, is Cags back in the cage? Like, what's going on? I turn to Starling Marte. Very impressive batting practice. But hey, okay, that's too much off the point. But Jac Caglianone into the home run derby. Very excited for that, and I think he's going to do a great job, show Kansas City and the rest of the world the amount of talent that he has, because Jac Caglianone, we've seen it since the month of June has started. This is a guy with superstar potential, and he's being able to get his tools that he possesses out there on the Major League diamond, which doesn't always happen. So very cool to see that. Now, Gabe, I cannot believe what I have here on the screen, but it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. There is a Royals artifact from this season that is en route to Cooperstown, the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. You wrote a great web article for us about this last night. Tell us what Tyler Tolbert is doing and how he this is unbelievable. Just let people know.
Tyler Tolbert last night completed a 3-day stretch dating back to Monday's weird afternoon series finale, which was the product of the 4th of July weekend and the World Cup game that was in Kansas City, turning it a Philly series into Saturday through Monday. He participated in that game, had 2 hits at the end of that game on Monday. On Tuesday, he then, on Saturday, over the weekend, he has 2 hits in the second game of the Philly series. He has 5 hits as the Royals scored 15 runs against Christopher Sanchez, the Phillies ace. So he had 7 consecutive hits, and it was kind of a wow. There's not a lot of guys in Royals history who have had 5 hits in a game. Bobby Witt Jr. still has not had 5 hits in a game for all the amazing things that he's done. And the last Royal to have 5 hits in a game before Tyler Tolbert did it on Monday was Hunter Dozier, which is crazy. Then on Tuesday night, he goes to New York.
First round pick, Hunter Dozier.
Yeah.
Let's give him his due.
Didn't have the greatest time in Kansas City, though. Tyler Tolbert, Tuesday night, has back-to-back 5-hit games and didn't have it at any point interrupted by a hit by pitch or a walk or a sacrifice bunt. No, it was 12 straight at-bats, 12 straight plate appearances with a hit, which tied the major league record. Some crazy names involved in this.
What was it, 1902? Johnny Kling?
Yes, Johnny Kling in 1902.
Oh, here I got
is
it right
a Kansas City native.
1952, right? This is you wouldn't even think this is a pro athlete name. Walt Dropo. Dropo.
Yes.
1952. Shout out to you.
Yes. So all of these things, incredible in and of itself. The way in which it happened, 2 of the 12 hits were home runs. Tyler Tolbert has 3 career Major League home runs, and I believe in his professional career, so he hits home runs on 2 consecutive days after entering with 1 home run in his career. He had less than 100 at-bats in his Major League career when this streak began. So I believe his career batting average...
98 career MLB plate appearances.
Yes,
you're right.
When his streak began on Sunday, he was a career 240 hitter, which is okay on low attempts because he has mostly been used as a pinch runner or a utility man, a defensive replacement, those types of things in his Major League career. His batting average for his career went from 247 to somewhere in the 300s. His batting average for this season, he was 7 for 35, which is a 200 batting average. When he came to the plate in the 9th inning last night trying to break the record and set 13 straight for himself to stand alone, which he failed to do so, but it's okay. He tied the record. His batting average for the season was up to 404. It is now a measly 396.
Yeah, look out, George Brett.
He's back in the 9-hole again tonight, so we'll see if he can keep the hot streak going. But his bat is headed to Cooperstown, and you mentioned it and said it's crazy. It's not the craziest thing that things can go to Cooperstown because the Royals had a bad year or missed the playoffs again last year. Salvador Perez had artifacts going to the Cooperstown because of his 300th career home run. Things like this happen. This is the beauty of baseball, that an uncompetitive team and a team that's out of the playoff race for the most part can still do things where Cooperstown will be like, we want a piece of that. And so that's what happened. And if you watched the game last night, everyone around the Royals organization says, like, it couldn't happen to a better guy. Tyler Tolbert is beloved in the clubhouse for a guy who was drafted in 2019, made his major league debut in 2025, and has basically gone up and down between Omaha and Kansas City the last 2 years, and still does it with a smile on his face. So good for him. It put a cap on a crazy baseball game last night, 16-12. 3 runs for the Mets, scoring on 3 errors by the Royals on the same play. And that's July 7th in Major League Baseball.
Well,
it's
if anyone
crazy.
saw that play that Gabe is talking about, the Royals allowed – everyone's calling it a Little League home run, and that's absolutely what it is. The Royals had 3 different throwing errors on the same play, and I don't want to bag on the Royals too much, but if there was one play that was emblematic of the season, it's that one, or maybe when they were dropping fly balls in the outfield against the New York Yankees, or it's just like yes, the Royals won the game yesterday, but those are things that truly, truly terrible baseball teams do. So hopefully the Royals get that turned around. Now, one nugget I wanted to get before we get off this point, because we do got to get moving here. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, I didn't know they were still in publication, but they've given us great stats over the years. Elite. We love you, Elias. Tyler Tolbert is the first player since at least 1900 with 4 pitching appearances and 2 5-hit games this year. So, hey, we talk about Shohei Ohtani being one of the best two-way players in baseball. Tyler Tolbert is coming after him, so shout out to him. Very, very cool to see what he's done there. I know a couple weeks ago I was in the clubhouse when he had just gotten, I guess it's more than a month ago now, I think it was end of May, when he got called back up after they released Elias Diaz. He was designated for assignment, and Tyler Tolbert came back up. So cool to see him. He was very happy to be back in the big league clubhouse. And just like Gabe said, the guys love him. Like when you see him in the clubhouse, he's always got a big smile. The team loves him, and he's proving to be a pretty quality player, at least over here in the last couple of days. So Tyler Tolbert, we'll see what he does. The Royals taking on the Mets tonight, 6:10 p.m. out there in the Big Apple. The Royals and Mets with identical 38-54 records. So we'll see what happens in this one. Bad news is for the Royals, okay, guys, they're 38-54, as are the Mets. The Mets are heavy favorites in this one. So the Royals looks like bullpen night. Steven Cruz on the mound. He has a 5.08 ERA this year. Not the best, but hey, we'll see what happens. That's the game of baseball. Moving on, pretty cool story here in Kansas City, Lee Summit area, and then also for the University of Missouri, because former local star Drew Lock, who went on to go star at the University of Missouri, got the call to the University of Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. He was a multi-team captain when he was at Missouri. In 2017, Drew Lock threw 44 touchdown passes, which was a Missouri single-season record. That year, he was named first-team All-SEC. But I think maybe one of the coolest parts of this story is he is a third-generation Missouri Tiger football player, and every chance he's ever had on any football field, he has put on for Kansas City. He's represented our area, the city of Lee Summit, the University of Missouri, extremely well. Gabe, very, very cool to see Mizzou honor Drew Lock. Always good to see our local guys kind of get the pub they deserve.
Mizzou has put out multiple videos in the last couple weeks of the process of them letting people know that they're going into the Mizzou Sports Hall of Fame. The first of which that they put out was Nick Bolton getting surprised by Andy Reid.
Which was a great video.
Today's
great too.
Yeah, during a Chiefs practice. And today they shared a behind the scenes of Drew Lock and Andy Hill with the former associate head coach of Mizzou, longtime assistant, a guy who spent multiple decades in Columbia, started as a walk-on with the Mizzou program as a wide receiver in the 80s, and then coached there for an incredibly long time, including while Drew Lock was in Columbia and was part of that team, and he was part of the offensive coaching staff. So really cool. You saw both of them get choked up as they each informed the other that they were being inducted or will be inducted into the Mizzou Sports Hall of Fame. Super cool. And really big year for Drew Lock. I mean, he was part of a Super Bowl winning season for the Seahawks as a backup quarterback this season, and now he gets inducted into the Mizzou Sports Hall of Fame. And everything that you read from anyone around Mizzou or anybody who's spent time around Drew Lock says that he's a great dude and couldn't happen to a better guy. So a lot like the Tyler Tolbert story, good things happening to good people, and you really enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, he's certainly been through a lot, in his entire life. Very, very cool to see Drew get the honor and all the flowers he deserves. Been a great ambassador for not only, as I said, not only the University of Missouri, but also for Lee Summit and the Kansas City area as a whole. So very, very cool to see that. Very deserving, and glad to see that the University of Missouri is recognizing him by putting him in the Hall of Fame. All right, guys, we have 2 more topics in about 10 more minutes, but the Kansas City quarterfinal matchup is set for our last World Cup match. Argentina, the defending champs, are going to be taking on Switzerland. That match is at Arrowhead Kansas City Stadium coming up Saturday at 8 p.m. Also, guys, be sure to stick with us here on KCTV5 on Saturday because we have a full day of coverage planned for you. It's not just going to be in the evening, not just going to be after the game. We are starting with our morning show Saturday morning and going almost all throughout the day when we have our broadcast, giving you the best coverage we can. Probably I'm going to say the best coverage in the Metro. Shout out to us for that day. But Argentina taking on Switzerland. Now, Argentina, Gabe, I know you guys talked about this a little yesterday, but oh my gosh. If you were Egypt and you played in that game, I don't know how you could feel that you were not robbed. Like, I cannot believe some of the, like when they took the goal from Egypt off the board, when there was a foul at one end line, the referee saw it in the field of play, doesn't make a call. Egypt takes the ball the literal entire length of the field and scores. And the next thing you know, we have to go to video review and we take a goal away. And then, things start happening. And then at the end of the day, Argentina wins that one 3-2. I know here in Kansas City, we are pumped up that Argentina is back and they're very, very good. And it's probably good for the tournament. But if you were Egypt, Gabe, how would you feel?
I'm sure I would be extremely, extremely upset. I would say this, that goal being disallowed, I don't know if there's, I don't know if I would say this. I don't know if there's a sport in which replay assistance, to me, appears to be more against the spirit of the game than it does in soccer, because the amount of times in which something happens in soccer and the referee is very close to the play and it is a judgment call. It is not a matter of fact or fiction. It is a matter of opinion. The head referee says something did or did not happen, and then we allow the game to continue to play on, and then a couple minutes later, somebody in a booth phones in and says, hey, we should take a look at it again. I don't know if you got that call right on the pitch. You should take another look at it. And then they do it. It, to me, is the only thing I can even compare it to is like in basketball where multiple possessions go by and then they stop and then they're like, oh, okay, his foot was on the line. Yeah. But that is not nearly as consequential as taking one goal off the board in soccer when
against the defending world champions.
So I think that they have a right to be upset about that specific play. I would counter with saying the goal was disallowed and then Egypt immediately scored to go up 2-0. And then from that point on, Argentina played everybody says the cliche 2-0 is the 2 goals is the most dangerous lead in soccer because you become a lot more defensive, and as soon as you concede one, you feel like you're on the heels, and that's what it looked like. As soon as Argentina got the first goal, when they were down 2-0, it just started reeling for Egypt. But that's what champions do, and you could say it against Cape Verde, you'd say it against Egypt. I think we'll probably see it again on Saturday night. It's a much more talented team, Argentina, than Switzerland. But they haven't played perfectly, and maybe it won't come back to bite them until they play a team that is capable of just completely outclassing them. And maybe that's England if England gets by Norway. Or maybe it doesn't happen until the final, and maybe we see Argentina get exposed by somebody like France or Spain. I don't know. But
Well, I think one of the coolest things maybe of yesterday's match, and obviously, in Kansas City, it's going to be cool to have Argentina back here. Their base camp is here. They're one of the top teams in the world. They're the defending champions. But to me, something that is just as a sports fan that kind of sent chills down my spine was seeing Messi crying after the game. I mean, this is a guy who has won literally. He has won everything there is to win in soccer. He has reached the pinnacle of the sport. He has been to the top of the mountain. He knows what it's all about. He knows what those things feel like. And he was lost in the moment. He was swept up by the moment. He was literally crying. And it's very rare that you see a guy who is widely regarded as the greatest player of all time do that. And actually, I'm going to make a cross-sport comparison here. But I've only seen this one other time, which is why I'm saying this. But it reminded me of Novak Djokovic at the 2024 Olympic Games. Novak Djokovic, one of the greatest tennis players to ever play. I believe he has more Grand Slam titles than any other man alive. More than Roger Federer, more than Rafael Nadal, more than Rod Laver, more than Pete Sampras. He's literally the best player by record, I think, to ever play the men's game. He had never won an Olympic gold medal, though. And then after he won the Olympic gold, his hands were shaking. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but he could not. The emotion overcame him. And I've never seen that, a similar situation with an all-time great, until I saw that with Lionel Messi yesterday. So, guys, it was a round of 16 matchup. But that's how much this means to them. That's how big the World Cup stage is. This is what they play for. Yes, do they get paid millions of dollars? Yes. He doesn't have to think about money. What drives him is the chance at eternal glory at the World Cup, and it was very, very cool to see. Yeah, he's done all this stuff, but it still means so much to him on the inside. So let's quickly go through Argentina so far. In the group stage, they beat Algeria 3-0, Austria 2-0, Jordan 3-1. Then in the knockout stage, round 1, they beat Cape Verde 3-2 in extra time. Cape Verde twice came from behind in that match. And then they beat Egypt after they were down 2-0 with just over 10 minutes left. Now, Switzerland on the other side, obviously not as talented, but they are at this juncture and they cannot be overlooked. A group stage, they beat they drew with Qatar 1-1. They beat Bosnia-Herzegovina 4-1. Then they beat Canada 2-0 to top the group. Knockout stage, they beat Rock Chalk Algeria 2-0. Then they drew with Colombia yesterday, but won on penalties 4-3 in that one. It's the first time that Switzerland is in the World Cup quarterfinals since 1954. That match Saturday, 8 p.m. at Kansas City Stadium. Now, one more thing we have to talk about, 2.5 minutes, so we're going to get through it. Norway and Erling Haaland, the striking Viking, taking on the Three Lions, who are obviously making their base camp at the Swope Soccer Village. Now, Gabe, I think there's a lot of local fans intrigued in this match because obviously England making their base camp here, and then I think Erling Haaland, he's kind of become one of the stories of the tournament. I think a lot of American fans have kind of adopted him as a guy that they want to cheer for because he's a tremendous goal scorer. He's a force of nature out there on the pitch. And in my opinion, is absolutely not a flopper. This guy plays tough soccer. How excited are you for this matchup? Because I think a lot of people, I want to cheer for England because I'm considering them our local team because they're here in Kansas City. But I love Erling Haaland so much, I might want to cheer for Norway.
Yeah, I think that there's a certain segment of people who are like, we can't allow England to win the World Cup on America's 250th anniversary. I didn't
think about that angle.
I probably fall into that category.
I might fall in that camp too.
More than, oh, they're living in Kansas City, good for them. Like, I hope they enjoy their time, good for them, all those kinds of things. Harry Kane went to a Royals game, but guess what? He has a long history as a Patriots fan, so that's all fake. And ironically, as an England guy, loves the New England Patriots.
Well, he was pretty tapped in when we saw him at the Royals game. We got to ask him a couple questions. He knew about Patrick Mahomes' injury and all this stuff. Like he follows American football.
Yeah, but you got to respect it. They won at Azteca in Mexico City, which is the truest of true road games.
They did the
in
impossible.
the World Cup. I'm pumped for everything that starts tomorrow through Saturday, all these quarterfinals, and just the rest of the way. The bracket is loaded. Can't wait to see how it goes.
It is loaded. I see. I'm mentally in a bind here because I do want to support England because I support the local teams here. So I supported Holland. I supported, I should say, the Netherlands. I supported them, Algeria, England, and obviously Argentina. So, but letting England win on America's 250th anniversary, I think you're right. I think I got to abandon ship. It's the Boston Tea Party, baby. Let's dump it in the ocean. We're going for Norway. The striking Viking, Erling Haaland, lead us to victory. But I would love to keep covering England. So talking out both sides of my mouth. Hey, England, as long as you can keep going, keep winning, it is what it is. I'll respect the results on the pitch. That's a look at KC Sports Tonight on this Wednesday. We'll lead you right into the 6 p.m. news. Take care, guys.